Katie Silberger, and hopefully she will be with us in a while. Our emails will be coming to us soon.
Yes.
They should be used for our ZBA communications exclusively. Our attorney, our new attorney, will be coming to our meeting in September and also in October. One of the opportunities you will have to meet him, and hopefully we'll be talking about procedure a bit. I already understand that we don't understand what goes on in the back office supporting us, so we're going to have to look into some of that at our first opportunity. Now we have 2 sets of minutes to deal with, all the way back to May 12 and July 14. And I would like to know if anyone has any issues with either sets. Therefore, motion to approve both of them.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, great. Done. Gosh, we haven't seen these folks for a while. Good to see you again. And you say you have some modifications for us to look at tonight, so.
That's right, mostly supplemental information and some new information.
Okay, responding to Dave Gilmore's comments and
That's right.
your Brian Arms.
Correct.
Okay. And is that ESOL yours?
It's not. Tonight, I thought it would just be easiest to have these 2 large format right on the table facing you, and then the board can review them, I think, more readily.
Our table is a little bit more constrained than usual. Okay, let's give it a try. So this is the new one.
That's right. Hot off the presses.
Okay, so this
There was
is,
a drainage easement, for example, that
Yes.
for some reason was not on my AutoCAD that I got in 2008. I looked, I didn't find it, but it's now on here, basically reproduced, as well as the corner easements. I'm happy to put
the
this right
planner,
here if I
the
can.
planner,
And then, so I can point out those new features. So the drainage easement is on either side of this property line, and in fact, Anthony has installed a swale right along here, and it goes to an existing drainage that connects up to a pipe a culvert that goes to that drainage easement.
and then there's a basin over here?
That one goes to the pond is here, and so there's a continuing drainage easement, as need be. Yeah, let me point. So, yeah, you can hold. So the drainage easement is to either side of this property line, and it then goes through a culvert to this drainage easement. And so these are the 4 we're looking at, and that's the drainage easement and across to the pond. So there's a couple of drainage easements and existing piping. So it's good to find that it's already settled in the previous.
Taken care of.
Yes, that's right. It's already, what should have been done has been done already. It just somehow got lost in the transition to my drawings. So now it's in and will be going forward. And then the corner, these are just, you can't allow shrubbery to grow taller than 30-inch height above the curb so that you can have good viewing around a corner lot. So that's noted in 3 spots.
So who then is responsible for maintaining the height of the shrubs?
Well, it's a restriction that goes with the lot. So the property owner would be, and then the building department, I suppose, would be the oversight to confirm. And then, of course, highway department, if they see something that's a problem.
It's an easement basically for the highway department to make sure if they need to, they will hack it down.
So what are the variances you're looking for, the same thing as before?
They're similar, but this is all, he's just addressing some of David's comments.
That's
Turning the
right.
houses so you're facing south?
Right, that's certainly the same as the last time we spoke. And you can see they're all oriented to true south.
And, let's see, again, say what's a patio and what's a potential deck?
Sure.
17 is a patio?
That's a
That is the one deck
This
here.
is the deck.
That's right. This one has a basement and a deck, and then the other three, and they're noted in this note here. This one says 3 that are slab on grade with a patio, and then one building that has a cellar on the
Okay,
deck.
okay. So.
Right, so that, yeah, the deck then would be within, all the setbacks that, with the variances that we're hoping to get, whereas the patios can run into side yards and such because they're at grade.
This is the front here,
Yes, this is David determined to be the front.
front for this one. And where's the front for this one?
Well,
Here?
now I guess David's determining that this is the front.
The whole thing?
Yes, the 2 front yards is a new thing now. So,
Right, well, it's still a front yard, 2 side yards and a rear yard, but then if you have a road frontage on one of the side yards, it gets a front yard setback, and it's treated much like a second front yard. And so we chose the rear and side yards on that corner lot to give us the best building envelope or buildable area for the south-facing houses.
So what, it's supposed to be 50 feet?
It's supposed to be 50 foot, that's right. And if you look at this lot, we're not there yet, that's future. But if you get a sense, that's unbuildable because it happens to have 3 sides that are front yard. And at 50 foot, which is, as we said.
And you were never able to get the planning board to change to whatever it was before?
Not yet. We're hoping.
We're
We're gonna have a whole thing built before they get around.
Brenda
That's the
started the
village.
process, and I think the village is still uptaking it now with David.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was a little bump with the transition from Brent to David. I think that's some of why it might not have happened yet. But I believe that the Gateway District is a focus, but they'd like to get all of the zoning. That might be too ambitious, so they might just do the Gateway, get that done, and then, but David and Tim, and I think the majority of, interested people in the village government, volunteers and other, are aware of it and see it as something that should be addressed, looked into further.
Soon, maybe, as opposed to later?
Well,
That's our preference.
we will have taken the action, whatever it might be, regardless of their action.
Well, I realize
Yeah.
that, but I mean, it'd be nice if they could get it together. This is going, how long is this going on for?
2008 was,
Right, we started, though, I don't know that we realized at the time that there had been this change. I mean, we were definitely struggling with the large front yard setback
Yeah.
from the beginning, but we
Yeah.
didn't even know, like, the origins
Yeah.
so well as we do now.
How are you reacting to the comments about the driveways in the setback zone?
Right, well, I guess we're asking for variances on those. When we first submitted the variance request, we weren't aware of that. We didn't find it. But David Gilmore pointed it out. The concern is, the one that it most affects would be 17 Cooper. And you can see the way we have it drawn. Yes, that's correct, thank you. The driveway is a little bit in the side yard. And we think this is beneficial to
But it's
design
also-
because it allows us to put the garage doors on the side of the house, which is
So you
generally
need-
considered
You need the
good.
swing space.
yeah.
Right, and the way it reads is if you have more than 90 foot of road frontage, any lot, then you can't, a driveway can't encroach in the side yard. But we're right, we're a little over 90. We have 120 for many, and then of course the corner lot has far more. But it's, basically we think it's another one of these laws that maybe sounded good, but in the application here, it would force us to put the garage doors on the front and chop up the front yard more. with the driveway, when we're trying to put to the side, which, I mean, I think it's even a good neighbor policy as well as, I think generally good design, preferable for, you know, the community and the neighborhood. You know, that's how we see it.
Well, there's an awful lot of driveway there. I mean, it's practically in the next lot. Am I right? This one.
Yes, that is a lot into the side yard.
That's a biggie. That's a very biggie. So, should I understand that you are going to revise your variance applications formally?
We would like to update them because we believe, yes, we would like to be able to encroach in the side yards. I think, for example, this one, well, it would be a far worse house design. Yes, thank you. That's 5 Cooper that I'm pointing at just now,
Okay.
which is the, I guess, worst encroachment into the side yard of the 3 that have encroachment. The flag lot is not affected by this because it's less than 90-foot road frontage. But the other 3 would be affected by this.
Yeah, this is certainly minimal, but this is, I'm not sure.
Right,
that's
that one we
significant,
could
but
slide it
that's a-
over.
Yeah.
But again, the question is it improving the design of the site and the house, you know, to benefit the neighborhood? And we think it's actually not a good rule. And so we'd like relief from it because we'd like to do the best job we can designing and orienting these houses.
So this house is already occupied.
Correct, that's completed
And
and
this is
occupied.
really the only house that's affected by this.
Possibly there are
On
other
this
areas
house.
that we.
No,
Yes.
no, what I'm saying is, if we're looking at this house.
Okay.
This is the only house that's affected by this.
That's fair to say.
And what is
This
up
house here, I think it's number 2 Cooper.
So there is
That's-
already somebody there.
That's right, prior to Anthony's ownership.
Oh, so it's not part of the development?
It's not, right, I mean, it's an older section of Green Acres,
Okay.
it was built out some time ago.
Other issues that you want to modify on your variance request?
Yes, I noted the.
Chair, if you like.
Thank you. The front yard. Okay, so we had the front yard setbacks. We're requesting relief from the height limit. It's only 1 foot of relief for 3 of the houses, meaning it would be a little less than 31 foot tall instead of it basically is very, very close and slightly over the 30-foot maximum on the 3 slab-on-grade houses. And we'd like to not have to flatten the roof because it gets into issues of snow sliding off the solar panels reliably.
You have
And
to have a solar panel at the correct angle, don't you?
that's right. We've found that 812 is an optimum pitch because it slides. And at 7 or 7.5, 12 pitch, slightly flatter, it does not slide reliably. And so it reduces solar production in the winter.
You know what he's talking about.
Right, so that's basically,
Yeah,
that's a
and
foot
this
or
comes
less
up-
of, you know, in excess of the height limit.
This comes up with, in further reviewing the code, we've actually found out the zoning code doesn't allow for a 2-story colonial to be built in the village.
Really?
Say that again?
The zoning code doesn't allow for a 2-story colonial, traditional 2-story colonial to be built in the village.
Our planning board member back there is awestruck.
I thought it's 2.5 stories.
I can't really hear what you say, John.
Oh,
He's not awestruck, he's yawning, he's falling asleep. No, I was just mentioning that the zoning code doesn't allow for a 2-story traditional colonial to be built in the village without a variance.
Because of the roof height.
Because of the total height of the building, because the traditional colonial has usually about a 10 or 12 pitch roof on a 2-story building, which the code requires, what is the maximum height is 30 feet?
30 feet to the peak, which is not how state building code defines it. It defines it as the average of the roof, which is basically halfway up the peak. But the village code has a specific definition, which is the peak, the highest point of the roof. So it almost compresses more than, well, otherwise, I suppose.
This is a mistake that the building department just never realized until David and I started pouring through your code book.
Good work, thank you so much.
We're turning up such amazing
Would
things.
you like to take that back to the planning board?
I mean, is that 8-foot ceilings?
Yeah, if you do 8-foot ceilings plus, you know, you have to have 8 inches above grade. So at the bottom, you're already a foot, let's call it. Okay, a foot, then an 8-foot floor, that gets you 9, then a typical box, you know, the floor is another foot. So you're at 10, then the 8-foot second floor, you're at 18, then another, you know, then the roof, typically for a 10 pitch would probably be about 13 feet on a traditional wide building. So that puts you about 32, 33 feet.
On 13 pitch though,
No, on a 10 pitch.
on 10 pitch.
Yeah, which is the standard colonial is either a 10 or a 12. But we're only doing an 8 pitch, but still we're a little wider, so it gets a little higher.
Everything, yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of problems with the road.
Yeah.
So,
So we're doing the work we're doing.
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that to Gary Gilmore next time I come to it. That'd be divided.
Yeah, no.
So it would help me greatly if I could use my agenda with the 4, and if you would, because then I can see it all in one place, the variances that you want.
Okay.
Apply, which variances apply to which property?
Okay.
Or to all of
group, or group them, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So how many of this and which of the properties, how many of this and which of,
Okay, will do.
okay.
So for all 4 lots, we would like a 25-foot front yard variance
Okay,
from 50-foot to 25-foot front yard setback.
okay.
Which ones do you need about specifically?
Of the
You may
4?
request them all.
Yes. Well, it depends.
That's
Yeah, there you go. The building inspector's interpretation of the front yard and the corner lot, I mean, he hasn't responded to my response, so I don't know if that's his current, but when he, posted his concerns, he was reading it as 2 front yards and 2 rear yards. And in one of those lots, the one that's extremely tight, we would then also, So on 9 Cooper, which is the corner lot, if you or other authority determine that his interpretation is correct, that there are 2 front yards and 2 rear yards on corner lots. I did a working out of the code in the most recent statement of need, which I can read aloud and explain if that's helpful, but we would need a 5-foot, well, actually, we would, because the village code allows side yards to be encroached by a corner of a building like ours, that it's not straight on to the side yard. You can actually encroach a bit into a side yard, but of course, if we don't have any side yards, then we would need a 5-foot variance on the rear yard setback, as well as the 25-foot front yard setback, in order to build that house on that corner lot.
For this lot.
It's fairly restricted. That's number 9, is the corner lot, 9 Cooper. So we can go through that, but that would be an extra one in terms of a side or front yard. Otherwise, I think we're within it. Yes, that was the only one that really required that piece. So then height variance requests. For 3 of them, numbers 5, 9, and 13 Cooper, we are requesting a 1-foot variance on the 30-foot height limit. And that's so we can have the pitch that we need for those. On 17 Cooper, we're requesting a 6-foot height variance, and that has to do with how the cellar how the grade is calculated as well. I think if we wanted to, we could catch this, we could put them right up to the corner. One of the definitions in the code is that you can define grade by the 4 corners of the building and where grade is there. So we can bring grade up very high at the corners and just have it a walkout to the west, and it would then we would only need a 1-foot variance, but we think it's a nicer house design to have the grade kind of stepping down the sides instead of coming out flat
And 2 big walls.
and then coming down in 2 big walls. We can comply with the code, or rather only request a 1-foot on this 4th building. But again, it's an aesthetic issue. We'd like to have a more of a variance to comply with the
And that's it.
village code definition of height for the building.
Can we get some elevation on that?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I've
if you
seen
have
those.
if
See
you
where-
can make a picture of it, we wouldn't have it in our package now.
Oh, right, because we didn't get the email.
I see his point.
Uh-huh, well,
Right,
that's fine.
I meant to bring some.
There, I have 17.
Yeah, let me just find those, apologies.
These are newer than what we have.
Right, I had not included them in the
Oh,
packet.
so these are all not up.
Well,
Here,
they're
so
going to be
thank you.
modified. Yeah, okay.
So I scribbled on it, but this is what we were intending to do to give it a little bit of light. Now we're gonna bring that right to the corner. The more that,
Say again.
we're gonna
This,
bring this right to the corner on this side. But
You
we'd like to
mean-
try to slope it down here.
instead of sloping.
Yeah, this is one of the ideas, was what I was trying to do.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, I'm sketching different ideas, but this is what David drew, and now the idea is to kind of bring it to the corner here and do a retaining wall to be steep, but then, steep and thick.
Retaining wall on this side, away from the building. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
probably
talking
come right
about?
from the corner, but then on the back side, we want to slope it down gently. You know, so we don't have, you know, as David was saying, many steps.
Right.
Okay, so on this one, by doing this, you aren't doing this, or you're still doing this?
Well, we're either doing a slope or this. So David said just make a gradual, instead of having a wall that's over here that's 8 feet tall.
So if
or
you
9 feet
did
tall.
this, then where would the building baseline be?
Well, you haven't decided then, is that what you're saying? You haven't decided which way you're
Hey,
going?
we would like to do a design that looks like this. This is a sample of the slab-on-grade design where we have like 30'6". We're at the peak, it's like 30'6", so we're asking for a 1-foot variance so we can do this design. We can achieve that measurement goal of 30'6" and comply with code if we come across here, we'd eliminate those windows, or we'd have window wells. I don't know
No,
how
don't
that
do
would work.
wells.
And then you'd have retaining walls only on the west face.
This is without a variance.
That's right, so this would
Well,
come,
we still need a 1-foot variance.
right, we would still request the 1-foot variance, but so this would then would look, that would be the kind of retaining wall design that would only require, you know, the extra 6 inches.
Now, that
of
would be
height.
on what, 2 sides?
No, just that one side.
Yeah, the view side to the west, because this would allow us to peg the grade height of the building at those corners. And then the others would be flat. They'd look, you know, well, the other sides would look similar to this one. I mean,
The other 2 sides would be the normal.
Right.
that's correct. They would look like this, almost like the slab on grade, where it's just below the floor level is the grade outside. And so that would be the difference between,
So you want to gently
East.
slope that and then request a 6-foot variance because you gently slope it down, right? Retaining wall.
that's correct.
Rather than zigzagging the building.
That's right, because we've got a walkout basement and it's towards the view, though I don't know,
Aesthetically,
you
it's
might
more
not get much
pleasing
view.
Without the retaining wall?
Right, that's right. We've done some very nice retaining
I-
walls there.
I'm not
So,
saying I agree or disagree, that's not my place. But just, I understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
good, thank you.
Okay, so that's a decision you have to make, and let me understand this. You are going back to square one and requesting a new set of variances.
We're adding variances because we had the consult with the building inspector and the village planner as well, who informed us that we had missed a trick or two. Like the next one would be those
Yeah, we were talking about-
driveways in the side yard.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect one of the lots,
Just
the flag lot, which is number 13, but it would affect, or we would like relief from that rule on the other 3 lots, which would be 5, 9, and 17, because we believe that that's actually a more pleasing,
All
this
be flat like
causes us to do worse design than we would otherwise do.
Yeah. But if we did the 6 foot.
With the neighborhood as the highest goal as well as, individual properties.
So that's, I'm sorry, just say the numbers again.
Sure.
5, 9,
The-
17.
Right, 5, 9, and 17 would be relief from the driveway in the side yard if you have 90 foot of road frontage or more.
So I'm wondering to myself why you were scheduled for this meeting if so many changes will be necessary. But I'm glad that we're getting together and we're getting some heads up on this.
And there's people in 21.
That's right.
The only thing I would be concerned about is I have no problem with someone change that. I just want to know what's going to affect these people.
Exactly. Well, and then
Well,
that's,
and
So
also-
and this one also.
Also three
There are
Cooper.
The one that's over here, is that right? Yeah.
Three
This is a neighbor that Anthony did not build the house for. This was
right.
previously existing.
Which is that, that's up here.
That's right, this is just outside the 25 lots.
Those are all higher, aren't they?
5.
Which ones?
21.
Yeah, they're higher. The hill goes up the hill like that.
Because this is actually just about on the property line.
Right.
Foot high.
But all of those houses are above these places, as I recall. Have you ever been out there?
I have, but I'm not, so you're saying that this house is
This,
lower?
yeah, this
So
house
that-
is higher.
Well, they're actually in the same grade, these two. That the road's flat there.
Oh, okay. This one's higher.
Yeah.
So where is, do you happen to know where this house is in relation to the property?
This house is probably
The
over
curb cut
here.
is here.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that would be the
it's-
driveway to
it's
get you
like
So this part-
distance
yeah.
from this.
Yeah, they probably have about like 40, 50 feet to their driveway.
It's like-
But their driveway's also over here.
And their view is to the west toward the mountains?
No, down here is probably not terribly much view. And this side, these houses this way, because you have, Village Arms.
And 21 Cooper, what part of the house would be facing this?
The west side.
So the side of the
That-
house with the view windows and such
Would be
of that
facing
house.
it.
Yeah.
So
Face
the-
these 4 lots, yes.
The prime view would be including the driveway.
No, because it's gonna be on a skewed angle, because their view's this way.
And then this is
That's ours.
scale. Where this gentleman-
Oh, I see what you're saying, it bypasses it.
Yeah.
in effect.
Scale.
Yeah, I mean, if their preference would be,
Yes,
they
this
want
is
that
all
house
to
closer
scale.
to the road.
Because there's no measurement there.
And this is their patio?
That is.
Their comment would be for us
deck.
to move the house this
That's
way
a
as
deck.
far as we
Yes,
could.
that's a
Is that what they
2-story
asked?
plus cellar
Okay.
house.
Okay, they,
So
And
this
that's
is-
higher by
Yeah.
quite a little bit
So they're
than those
looking
4.
down on this from that.
Pretty much it
area.
looks over them at
Over
the view.
That high. Oh, oh.
But I was just telling them, I mean, 21 would prefer if we could move 17 all the way to the road.
Well, yeah, I'm just looking at 20 feet. I mean, 20 feet is from here almost maybe a little bit more than that wall there. So it is tight. Just saying.
what, I'm
For
sorry,
the
you were
people
saying
who
the
live at 21, it
distance?
is all, I mean, 20 feet, now I think I'd be a little further because they've got probably 30 feet to here from their own property. I don't know if they went to code and did 50 feet, that was before me, but from here to here is 20 feet from their property line. So that would be from here to their property line.
Right, but they're not viewing on that.
No, they're not,
back
I'm
here.
just saying, it's just.
Yeah.
it gets-
And so the people in that house want this all up by the road.
Yeah, they prefer it to be right up to the road.
Right.
They don't like the 50-foot setback thing at all.
Okay.
Well, less than 50 foot.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean setback from this side?
Yeah, they would like that house to be right at the 25-foot mark.
I have,
Yeah, what's
And if it was a 25-foot mark, the driveway could go in
see,
straight
that's what I
too.
was kind of thinking. I mean,
Yeah, if you moved it up, this would,
Yeah, the big problem is these driveways are so long that we have to make.
Yeah,
We have to-
it's a tight angle closer to
Yeah.
the road also.
I'm sorry, I'm missing something. So if you were to move this house up
Yeah, if you moved it
How
up,
would the driveway
this would all get moved up too.
But you'd still need the curve, right?
Yes, but that curve would then get pushed that 5 feet further forward and be out of
Wouldn't be
the
in the
setback.
No, I understand. I
Not
just,
so much.
So we could shift 17 Cooper so that we didn't need a variance on the driveway and the side
Yeah, if we get the
yard.
front yard setback, yes.
If we get the front yard setback, then we could, on one at least, we could dodge that, because we have more room on that
but
lot.
17.
Yeah, because ideally, they would like us to shift the house to the road
To the road,
and to the
yeah.
east.
But that's the one for which you're asking for the height variance.
We wouldn't shift it east with the driveway issue.
No, but they would love it, if we
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
love it if we can get this.
We would probably shift it
driveway
almost
right there.
that way, 5, 6 feet, and then it would eliminate that.
Yeah, you have
They
to
could still
say
have
seafood
24
diet?
foot backing out. Because that's coming from a lot of a driveway.
Notify David,
Turn that way. Okay.
Yeah, now that's just their feedback, and if they think that, why is the house gonna be so far away from the road? But there's
So
a
wait,
good-
so you're considering,
If they wanted to move it up this way and move it this way a little bit, the driveway would go just straight into it.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
On that one, we had not come all the way up to the 25-foot because to some extent, we're trying to make sure we have enough freedom to do the best design we can. And so we were, putting it about in the middle of the site there. But
I'm trying to not ask for
we
too
could
much of a
reduce
variance.
one variance request. That's probably worthwhile to move the house over. So I will adjust that.
so the house would
Moderation
stay,
in all things.
the house would stay at the same angle.
That's right.
It would just come forward.
Yeah, I think it would probably move at a little bit of an angle, but it would make it so that the back corner of that driveway would not be in the side yard. It would come right up to the side yard setback.
And I don't remember the answer to this question. How many, so this is the front of this house. How many of the other houses in the development would have only 25-foot setback, 25-foot front setbacks? Would there be, are there?
Well, you've approved others.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so maybe I don't understand the
She
question.
wants to know if there are others.
That would also require front yard.
That
No,
would,
that
that
are
already
close
have
to
been given,
25.
have you built other houses, moving them forward? So this would not be.
Yes, this is an
Even
example
21
here.
was.
This one
So
was
this would
granted,
not
and this one
be-
across the street, 22
This would not be the
Cooper.
Lone Ranger.
21 and
Moving
22.
forward.
No,
So,
no, this is a summer rerun
and
of the
20.
other requests.
Yeah, all three of
25.
these
No,
were
no.
nearly unbuildable lots, so all three of these, or similar ZBA granted 25-foot front yard setbacks on those three. They were more triangular. Those were the challenges with those
Right.
particular lots.
Okay, so how should we proceed on this? You're going to go back, make some changes, and do what will be a significantly changed submission.
It seems like it's just writing in a couple more.
A lot of paper. And we'll need all this. Do you think we should take the risk of setting a public hearing date at this point? Will you be?
We'd like that if
Yeah.
you felt comfortable with, what we've described, and I can have these updates out in the near future, say this week if that's helpful, or, a week or
The
two. if
September
that's-
meeting?
Right.
Okay. Works for you?
What's your timeline, too?
Works for you, Dave?
Well, that's more complicated.
What is?
Because
Dave?
of our timeline for these 4 projects, because we were going to, we're not, we still have to go through the planning board review process. And the recommendation overall was to at least have this initial meeting with the ZBA, if not complete the public hearing process with the ZBA done, and then start, which would certainly mean that we were not building before winter hits.
Oh.
Right, because they've
He
now
had hoped
enacted
to, but it's
So you,
looking
They've
not-
enacted
you
a
weren't planning
law.
on building before winter anyway?
We were planning to actually start building sooner. We were actually gonna, try and squeeze the lots all the way, start like on this one here, which pretty much doesn't need a variance at all. And, we were gonna push this one all the way back, but then, so it didn't need a variance. But, the one thing was is that we figured, all right, let's go for the variance since we can't start building them anyway, because their village has now enacted their new law requiring a site plan review for all new single-family houses.
So this client would like the house up closer.
Yeah, so that's why we haven't really done much change right here. And originally, before, we thought there was a determination that there was 2 front yards. This one, we were trying to also have.
That is silly. There should be a front of the house, back of the house, and 2 sides. I don't like that at all. I mean, that's my opinion.
Should we go, well, I have the law quoted in this
Yeah, I
recent
know
statement of
it's a
needs.
law, but I'm just saying, I think it's silly.
Rich, do you
Right.
have any comments on this in regard to the planning board
The
schedule?
planning board never saw this application.
Did not.
We were told not to go to them till we're done with you.
Okay, okay.
And my understanding, you can't set a public hearing until we do.
Oh, so we do need to then, we need to see the planning board prior to a ZBA public hearing?
I'm not the authority on that, I'm not the planning board.
No, the last few times we've gone to the ZBA, I think you guys just took the package and sent it to them to look at. Because we didn't go to the planning board.
The planning board reviewed our last submission to the
They
ZBA.
reviewed all our ZBAs, but we didn't actually attend ourselves. I think you guys
I
sent
think
them
that's
out.
right. I think Brent said that wasn't necessary. I think she described what the project was, and they had no substantial comment to advise the ZBA. I think was fairly neutral, their response.
No, no, go back to the minutes.
Do we need a public hearing?
Yes, I think that we need a public hearing for everything we do.
Oh, okay. Well, and then that's it.
Do we
You might want to get
anticipate?
people in 3 Cooper and 21 Cooper, give them an opportunity to sit down in front of us. They have it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was just going to ask, if this is resolved in the way that he's hoping for, that this house is hoping for, then if there's a public hearing, obviously this would not be an issue raised at the public hearing. But we still don't know whether these folks would raise an issue at the public hearing.
Right.
That's right. I don't think I've ever spoken to them. I don't know if you have. So I don't know how they feel about
Just to hear their
things in general.
concerns. If
But
they have-
absolutely.
They may not have
No,
any.
I understand, but
Yeah.
it's also good to know that, what, if we have reason to expect something or have reason not to expect something.
Yeah.
Here, if we don't deal with this, we have reason to expect that they will raise an objection.
That's a good point. I guess
The
that's
only-
why
the
we
only
always
thing
have
I
our
can-
public hearings.
The
Giving
only thing I
everybody a
can
chance.
recall about a public hearing was this business down in here, the people who came to, as I recall. I've been here long enough for them all.
Yeah, like in the very beginning, there was no public hearings. You guys made a determination. Then there was a public hearing started in the second set.
Katie, do you, hi, public hearing can be set?
Well, it's certainly the purview of the board. I could state that if you wanted to cover all bases, you might want to set the public hearing pending an evaluation by the planning board. And as Rich and I kind of discussed while you were going over the plans, I could get it to the planning board for next week's meeting, which, depending on their comments, we could trigger the public hearing without any problems. We have a month.
It doesn't meet our submission date, but we've got a 3-person board next week.
And that sounds exactly what you said is the exact same, I think, exactly what Brogan did last time.
Maybe so. I don't recall.
What you just described sounds exactly what Brogan did last time.
I mean, having interlacing kind of time.
Technically speaking, if it so please the board, if the planning board could accommodate the late submission, if we didn't want to set the public hearing until the planning board had a chance to review, we could have a special zoning board meeting for the purposes of reviewing the comments made by the planning board, and for the purposes of setting the public hearing, we could do that the week after next, and still have plenty of time to set a public hearing if it so pleases the board.
We've got a 4-man board now, and somebody just left on vacation.
So will it be worth doing with 3?
Please see the rest of the board.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, it's
I may
with
be more speed on this than the other two.
best guesses.
I mean, for that matter, you could allow the planning board to see it at their first meeting in September and still hold, and we could hold a special, we could,
People here don't.
you could do that. You could do, or you could hold a special meeting. And an additional special meeting in September too. We could notice an additional special hearing if you needed to do that. So we can play with some time, with timing a little bit, and do the proper notice. That's the purview of the board.
Okay, let's go through it one more time. If we set a public hearing for September,
You would probably want to keep the comments open until you've heard from the planning board. But you could keep the public hearing open until, if you had a public hearing in the first meeting in September and you kept the meeting open pending the comments of the planning board, if the comments came back in a short period of time, you could schedule a special meeting of the zoning board for the purposes of closing the public hearing and not have to make the applicant wait until October to close the public hearing. That would be at your purview.
so our special meeting then would be on the 22nd, the 4th, the 4th.
You can have a special
That's
meeting
September.
anytime you want.
Okay.
As long as it was proper notice, you could have it anytime you want.
How are you folks feeling about this?
I'm uncertain about when we're going to be away.
Uh-huh.
So if you know you have 3 people without me and this is all we're doing, then, but I don't know yet what our schedule is because we're trying to fit it around board meetings of various sorts.
Why do we need 2 public hearings?
One for us, and then we're holding it open so we can get the comments from the planning board before we render a decision.
So it's really only in effect.
Would it be unless you guys gave your comments at the next week's meeting, or?
It's possible.
Yeah. So if they did give comments at next week's meeting, then that would, it's all moot.
Then it's your schedule.
Please come up here, it's easier to hear you.
I'm so sorry, Vicki. Excuse me. I will note that there is a flip-flop. Normally, the village board meets these 2 Wednesdays. The village board would meet these 2 Wednesdays. The village board will not be meeting this day because it's in,
Yom Kippur.
so we'll be having our meeting on the 16th. That was determined at the reorganization meeting in June.
So that's a village board meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you don't know when you're going to be around?
Maybe this may help you. So he has to be here for the village board meeting, obviously, and here. So the chances are we wouldn't go until here, because he's going to need to be here, which would mean I wouldn't be here.
But you would be here.
But I would be here.
Okay, so
I may be gone, I'm looking at the middle of October somewhere.
No, we're talking September.
Oh, September, okay.
But for that virtue,
And are you-
we could, if we need to hold a special
Are
meeting.
you around,
We could do one of these
Tony?
days.
Yes,
Are you around?
I'll make myself available.
Yeah, September's okay.
I just hope the planning board looks at it next week.
September's okay considering.
Okay. So how is a Thursday, the 17th?
I thought we met, oh, we're all done by then, aren't we?
They'll be coming back to us
Yeah, we'll
on
be-
the
we'll-
8th.
I mean, we're all done with our other thing by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming back to us on the 8th, but the 8th is too early for a public hearing?
No, we could do a public
Do a public hearing
And then if you
then?
needed to have a special meeting for the purposes of closing that public hearing because you
Then
have
we'll
received
have it
comments,
on the evening of the
we
17th.
could do the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with you.
And that gives the planning board enough time to do its thing to the extent possible.
Does that sound reasonable to you, Rich?
Is this what we're saying?
Like I said, I might be able to speak more than others on this. I think.
Absolutely, which is why
What was the date of?
that gives 2 planning board meetings,
September.
gives next week and the first week of September.
Thursday.
And Michael won't be back until the end of August, so we don't.
17th?
So it's Liz and John.
Well, that's the best we can do at any event.
I'm sorry, where are we? Just say the numbers again.
We're having a meeting on the
Yeah.
8th. There'll be a public hearing
Right.
and any other business that's associated
Right.
with that. And then we will be closing the public hearing, hopefully on the 17th, we'll have a special meeting, and we'll take other comments and information from the planning board, such as it will be.
Then you need to, when you make your public hearing motion, you'll need to motion to have the special meeting on the 17th so it can be properly noticed.
And can we do that now? Okay.
And this date is questionable for me. The 8th is fine, but this date is questionable for me. But you'll have almost surely a quorum anyway.
We hope. Okay. All right, so we need a motion then, do
So-
we not?
Just before the motion, so David and I probably should try and get you just a quick write-up of exactly what we're asking for, so you can send it to the planning board.
Yes, as quickly as possible, you'll want to have as much information as
Just a
possible. to the
write-up
boards.
of it.
The revised application with the additional requests for variances, an updated site plan, PDFs,
Yes.
and because I did recently, I'll send another package, I did send a package with the elevations and supplemental information. I'll update everything, I'll send out a new PDF package so that you can forward it on.
So we need a motion now to set this up. So let's have may I have a motion to hold the public hearing
So I move,
for Alpen Lee on September 8, and that public hearing to be held open for other consideration until the,
You would just, they're going to hold a special meeting on the 17th.
okay, that's easy. It's a special meeting on the 17th.
Make a motion to file a special meeting on the 17th for the public hearing.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Happy? Happiness reigns.
Happy.
Okay. Happiness reigns.
Someone put that on.
Happiness
Because
reigns.
it's Thursday. October 5th.
Thank you, thank you.
I have a question about the write-up, the revised application defining the variances we're requesting for each of the 4 lots. One of the reasons I didn't do a revised one for this meeting is I really need to speak with you. For example, 17, we're not going to ask for that driveway and the side yard variance on that one because of our discussion this evening. So that's very helpful to know. The one about the interpretation of 2 front yards means 2 rear yards, and so we would need another variance if that were the interpretation that you followed, or something else. I'm not sure how to, best serve my client. Do you get a, provisional, if you need it, you can have the side yard or rear yard. I guess it would be a rear yard variance. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to request an extra variance that we don't need. And I don't know exactly the best way to handle that because I'm not
Side
sure.
yards and rear yards are the same distance.
No,
No,
not
they're
in
5 foot
R1.
differential on, so I'm at very tight
In
site.
R2.
5 Cooper.
It's 25 for a rear yard and 20 for a side yard.
Oh, so it's
Right. But there's also so tight 5 feet.
So I think, how does this sound? We pursue the building department to decide, to give us advice, and let's go, yeah, that's,
Maybe I'll
Maybe.
ask for it.
nail them.
the-
Can you nail them when you do it? No, seriously.
Yeah.
Because
Can
the
I get a
book
final
says
determination?
one thing and, yeah.
Well, his
Right.
final determination is that he's gonna err on the side, he says, because he's in Newman syndrome, he's erring on the side of caution.
Oh, I didn't hear whether he reviewed my write-up of
No, he
my
says he's gonna err on the
interpretation.
side
Oh,
of
you talked
caution,
to him
yes.
afterward?
And he's the way he can, obviously the other side of a front yard is a backyard, and that's how he's gonna interpret it, because there's nothing else saying otherwise.
Oh,
And
there
that's-
is though.
that's
Well, your guys will
Brian
have a
that you're
lawyer
talking
on
about.
staff
Yes,
next
exactly.
month
Right.
to assist
He'll be
with
here.
code interpretation.
He will be here then. So I
Okay,
can,
so I will ask for then.
So we'll have
I
to
will
put a
add a
rear
rear
yard
yard,
side.
5 yard variance because the building inspector currently apparently is saying there are 2 rear yards, not a rear and a side yard. And then we would
You're saying there are 2 rear
require-
yards and 2 front yards?
And then if there's a change in that decision, then you withdraw the request.
We'd be happy to withdraw it. Yeah, we're not seeking, well, you know what we hope to do. That's what we hope to do, however, we have to get approvals to do.
He's on vacation now, but perhaps I can call
I'll
him.
have them.
Who, Brian? William Frank?
Joseph McKay, our new
Okay.
attorney, and he plans to be at that meeting in any event.
Okay, we'll talk then.
Anything else?
I think we just wanted to figure out what to do with that rear yard thing.
Yeah. That's a biggie. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
So it's really just down to front yards, that one rear yard and the height yard, and then the driveway thing.
No, I mean, it's 3 or 4.
And.
Something like
That's
that.
it.
It doesn't affect all of them, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving this back to you.
Okay,
And
great. You
yeah.
can keep one if you wish, or
Okay.
you don't have to.
This is a good one? This is
Right,
the
that,
new-
that's correct. And
This
I'll-
is the
and this
new
one
approved.
would be
This
one
is-
to get rid of.
Yes,
if
I
you-
put a big X on
Okay,
it.
so
good.
maybe put the date on that one? Or you
Yeah,
just-
it does have a date on it.
So this one I'm getting rid of?
Yes, put a big X on.
I have a wood stove. Start fires.
Actually, it's good for other things.
On the back side of it, poster board.
Okay, get that, great.
Oh, that's where the,
All right.
I know I had seen
How many
it.
more lots do you have?
These are 4 of the remaining 10. So there's 10 total we have left to build on.
Right. so-
10 more?
Yes.
Right, so there are these 4, and then there's the 4 closer to Village Arms that you can kind of see on the site plan. And then there are 2 at the top of the hill. And those are the ones remaining at this point.
6 to come.
6 after these 4, that's right.
6 to come or 10 to come?
6 to come.
It depends if you count these 4
Oh, we're
as
almost done, huh?
Yep.
over halfway.
Next year?
I was hoping to be done,
Completed.
I was hoping to get done
At
this year, but,
25.
the village has slowed me down.
Yeah.
They don't think it's important enough to collect taxes. I mean, they should be excited to help me get this done quicker, I would think, because right now it's only like $1,500 of taxes, and then it's gonna be $15,000 taxes. I mean,
Yeah, well. if the
Thank you so
village
much
is
for your
smart,
work.
they'd be
We appreciate it.
Collecting tax on it instead of.
Thank you.
Lollygag.
yeah, so,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Katie, did you come with any information from Ryan about escrow?
Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry to say I did not.
Okay, that works for me,
Okay.
because I have to deal with that. Let's see, I think even I have something to pass out tonight. This is kind of, previously we had talked about the possibility of, here's one for Dave, here's one for you. We can give one to Katie in case that helps her in any way. We had talked about the possibility of specializing in areas of the code to help us do better reviews. And so this is the dreaded table of contents of the dreaded code. And I was just wondering what particular parts are of interest to us. So we can sit here and chat about it, or you can email me and tell me what you're interested in.
Are you
It's up to
talking about
you.
each person
Yes,
being responsible for one area?
yeah.
I can't.
You can't. Okay, okay. And we don't have Katie here to find out what her concerns are.
So something like this is the legal stuff.
Yes,
I mean,
that's,
not all of them are as, maybe before we do whatever we're gonna do, maybe we should put a check mark next to the ones that we think are the most relevant, we as a group think are the most relevant, and then think in terms of picking one of those areas as our primary.
we could do that.
Because otherwise I'll take general provisions.
Yeah. No, I was thinking in terms of the big chunks,
Right,
the big chunks.
that's why I'm saying, if you
Yeah.
just identify them.
Yeah.
I mean, how much floodplain issue do
Right.
we have? We don't.
Exactly.
So,
So would.
it seems to me special use permits is a biggie.
Mhm.
Parking is a biggie. Zoning districts, obviously, and district use.
Where are you?
Supplement.
Where?
So I think, it seems to me,
Where?
I'm on the front page right now.
Okay, Article 1,
I don't think so.
2,
I don't think so.
okay,
But
3.
jump in and disagree with me.
No.
I don't know.
What-
No, I don't disagree with it too. I mean, that's an
Okay.
easy one.
Article 3, what do you feel about that?
No.
Okay.
Well, density control schedule.
Yeah.
I hope that that's a biggie.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we should put a check mark next to it as
Yeah, I
a
agree.
possibility, huh?
On 3.
Okay.
Article 4, certainly.
I mean, I'd be good at Article 4 and Article 5, but I can't commit myself to it.
Well, but we're saying we want Article 5. Right now, we're
Yeah,
just
Article
identifying
5,
the
yes.
ones we're,
Well, yeah, I just
okay.
can't commit.
Special use permits,
Yes,
parking,
yes.
You mean Article 8?
yeah, Article 8. And it seems to me that's the stuff that comes up. Unless we also want to include non-conforming uses and structures, Article 10. And then just pick from among those,
No, I think 10 is important.
non-conforming,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So we're saying that if we're going to do this, we're going to choose amongst 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 10.
And, right, and 5 will, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, why don't I email to Katie about this, telling her what we've done,
Okay.
and then you folks can either choose tonight, or we can do it at our next meeting, or we can do it by email.
Okay, I would like the opportunity to sit down with our list, sit down with the code, and make sure that I feel like I have can bring any expertise in. Because right now, I'm thinking I would take off-street parking and load it, but I
Okay.
really want to look at it,
We'll do that.
okay? And
Yeah,
then email.
between now and then, yes, sure.
Okay.
How do you feel about it, Tony? You want to just rummage around in the code and then email me?
Yeah, let me read,
Okay.
pick one, read through the code, see what I really get, what I like. And then I'll say, okay, I'll take that.
Or the one that makes you the most crazy, that's the
Well,
one.
I was actually looking at off-street parking too. But no, I also like, I like 3 and I like 5. I like 5 of them.
I think
Let me
that-
look it over.
I think this is such a wise thing to be doing. Madam Chairperson, I believe this was your idea, and I think it is a terrific idea.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
I know.
Do we have any other things we would like to discuss this
Well,
evening?
Vicki, who's responsible for looking for another person?
I have-
You or the planning,
I have mentioned it to Tim and I've mentioned it to Katie, and Katie has done what she needs to do.
And we'll be advertising as a whole for positions in the village again this coming week, considering the fact that we are in need of another person on several of our boards.
Good.
And we actually need.
I'm not gonna resign until you've got some.
I know, and I appreciate that.
But
It's getting to be a bit much, I understand.
well, tell you, there's another thing too, but I'm
Sure.
not sure about it yet.
And we also need an alternate,
Well, yes, but.
not as badly as a member. No, I
Yeah, I'm not sure about the alternate issues. I think what we really are looking for when we look for an alternate is frankly, the next planning board member, you know?
The next planning board member?
I mean, the next, excuse me, yes, I used to be the planning board chair.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you,
Yes.
that's a nice way to
That's
do it.
really what we're looking for.
So that
And
that
that's a
person
big
gets, comes in
Yes.
running.
I know, and I would love it if we could do it, but
If we have a full complement, we still have two backups to leave us with a three-person.
yeah. Anything else for you, Katie? Would like a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
Okay.
Favor?
All right.
Even lacking discussion. Okay, great.